KBS has obtained North Korea's tourism development plans for Wonsan and Mount Kumgang, covering an area of about 70% the size of Seoul. The wife of former Prime Minister Kim Jong-il passed away on Saturday at the age of 86. And critics complained about the Dongdaemun Design Plaza's hefty price tag, but the futuristic structure is now a tourist-attracting architectural icon. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, February 23rd. I'm Luke Clary. KBS has obtained North Korea's plan to develop an extensive tourist area around Wonsan and Mount Kumgang. North Korea aims to complete the new international resort area equal to about 70% the size of Seoul by 2025.
This is a development plan for the Wonsan and Mount Kumgang tourism zone instructed by Kim Jong-un. It was designed by North Korea's National Infrastructure Designing Bureau at the end of last year. The construction's first phase will take place mostly in Wonsan until 2017. The central area will house the hotel and other lodging facilities as well as recreational centers. A golf course and a mountain equestrian range would be added near the Masikryong ski resort. An ecological park will be created around Ullim Falls, which supposedly can be heard from 4 kilometers away. The second phase of the plan, to be completed by 2025, mainly involves expanding the existing Mount Kumgang special tourism area and building additional facilities. Tongchon and Sokwang temple districts will be newly added to the Inner and Outer Kumgang areas, including Samilpo-Haekumgang district, which have been developed and operated by South Korea's Hyundai Asan. These new districts will feature hotels, a golf course, resorts, and marine entertainment facilities. The distance between Wonsan and Haekumgang measures 109 kilometers, and the total area to be developed amounts to 427 square kilometers, equal to 70% of Seoul in size. With the 2-year preparation now over, North Korea plans to hold briefings in April to attract foreign investments.
Mourners visit the memorial altar for the wife of former Prime Minister Kim Jong-il. She died on Saturday at age 86, and while now she's gone, the public will long remember her long, loving marriage to one of South Korea's most influential politicians.
Park Yong-ok, wife of former Prime Minister Kim Jong-il, died of chronic illness at the age of 86. The former Prime Minister wept before a portrait of his late wife, to whom he had been married for 64 years.
편안하게 숨을 거둬 미국에 나도 이제 갈 테니까 몇 발대 앞서서 간 거지.
Park Yong-ok was the oldest daughter of Park Sang-hee, an elder brother of former President Park Chung-hee. She married Kim after former President Park introduced them to each other. Park assisted and supported Kim from the wings throughout his turbulent political life. The elderly couple were known for their devotion to each other and marked their 64th wedding anniversary on February 15th.
엄격히 따지면 첫사랑은 저기 있는 저희 집사람한테 첫사랑이거든.
Despite being bound to a wheelchair following a stroke, former Prime Minister Kim made efforts to nurse his ailing wife. According to an aide, Kim held his wife's hands and kissed her as she passed away. Politicians from both the ruling and opposition parties visited the memorial altar for Park to express their condolences.
The long 5-day Seoul holiday weekend is finally over, and Koreans who returned home from their visits with relatives had the chance to spend the rest of the weekend with their families before getting ready for another work week.
A girl slams down the hammer with the help of her father. The pounding helps the sweet rice dough turn into a mound of delicious and sticky duck or rice cake. In marking the year of the blue sheep, a treasure hunt was held to find blue sheep.
이 팻말을 찾아오면 선물로 이 양 저금통을 줄 거거든.
After a careful search, this girl finds a sign hidden under a bed of leaves. Grown-ups who have to go to work on Monday enjoyed some quality time with their families before bracing themselves for another work week.
답답한 감은 있어요. 좀 더 놀았으면 좋겠지만 그래도 연휴 푹 쉬고 가는 기분입니다.
An ice rink in the city is filled with people sledding and trying to enjoy the last bit of winter. Some slip and fall from sledding awkwardly, but dashing on the ice certainly helps relieve the holiday stress and fatigue. In one corner of the park, people are writing down their New Year's wishes.
새해에는 우리 가족 다 건강해가지고 2015년도도 많이 잘 보냈으면 좋겠어요.
Koreans are wrapping up their long holiday weekend with their loved ones and gearing up to return to their daily routines.
You should mind the gap on the platforms at subway stations, as an average of more than 60 people fall each year as they embark their trains.
During the evening rush hour, an office worker named Che was pushed by other subway passengers and fell thigh-deep into the platform gap. He managed to climb back to safety with the help of passers-by before the train's departure, but his entire leg was so severely bruised that he had to receive medical treatment for a month.
저를 못 보고서는 그냥 혹시 문이 닫히고 그냥 갈 수도 있는 상황이었잖아요. 그게 가장 무서웠어요.
Some 320 passengers fell into platform gaps at subway stations over the past 5 years. This works out to an average of 65 accidents a year. Most of the accidents occurred at stations with curved platforms, which have wider gaps with the trains. Safety footholds must be installed at locations with platform gaps of 10 centimeters or wider, but many stations have neglected such requirements. Of 120 subway stations operated by Seoul Metro, 83% have platform gaps of more than 10 centimeters. The gaps can even be as wide as 20 centimeters at some locations. Countermeasures such as strengthened safety standards are urgently needed, as disastrous accidents can occur if handicapped passengers in wheelchairs or children get stuck in the gaps.
Dongdaemun Design Plaza stirred up controversy for costing the city an exorbitant amount of cash when it was first built. But now the futuristic structure has become an architectural icon, drawing numerous tourists with its various exhibits and special events.
This is the Dongdaemun Design Plaza, better known as DDP, which opened about a year ago. The curved exterior, which resembles a gigantic silver spaceship, grabs the people's attention. Foreign tourists are also amazed by its ultra-modern design.
Building of structure is so new and unique.
Visitors to DDP can enjoy the permanent Kansong cultural exhibit, which features national treasures and relics, and a variety of interesting displays and events throughout the year.
All the way up to the stairs, put on the walls some more exhibition or something, but it's clean and nice.
Roughly 8 million people visited DDP over the past year. The New York Times even listed DDP as one of the 52 places to go in 2015, describing it as a neo-futuristic, curvilinear exhibition space that has helped transform the area into an international design hub. Before the sleekly designed DDP opened, controversies erupted over its bizarre design that clashed with its surroundings and the staggering operational cost, giving rise to many concerns. But now it's emerging as one of Seoul's defining landmarks and winning worldwide attention.
Travelers often end up with a lot of scraps and knickknacks on their journeys, and sadly those things can end up littering the most popular tourist destinations. Young people in Jeju have found an interesting solution to this problem. Here's more.
Amid the crowd gathered at a famous tourist destination, some visitors can be seen picking up litter.
즐거움을 느끼고 마음의 휴식을 얻잖아요. 근데 그 사람들은 오히려 여기에 자기 흔적을 쓰레기로 남기고 가거든요.
They place the collected garbage, including receipts, newspapers, and admission tickets in plastic containers, and sell them as souvenirs for slightly over $6. Tourists themselves can purchase empty plastic containers for a little under $3 to fill them with the things left from their own trips.
여행자들이 만든 거잖아요. 결과적으로는 쓰레기긴 하지만 그래서 굳이 그렇게 이쁘고 포장된 걸 살 필요 없이 이런 것도 좀 다른 의미의 기념품이 돼요.
Over the past 10 days, some 50 people purchased bottles collectively worth approximately $180. The participants of the cultural experiment aim to raise funds needed to ship 500 books, which are to be donated to a small library in Jeju Island. The project is expected to offer tourist destinations a bit of help while offering travelers mementos from their trips.
Korea's very first residential buildings of the modern era look nothing like today's towering apartment structures. Up next, we take you into the largest post-war residential complex in Korea.
This dense cluster of single-story houses, located just inches from one another, is a residential complex built in 1943 by Japanese colonists for a weapons factory. Now, it's known as Mwetkor Village. To get into the village, one must pass through a narrow alley. The village has remained largely intact since its construction. The L-shaped houses were built around a small yard at the center. The complex is home to 1,088 households. And it's also the largest private house residential complex in Korea's modern history. It saw its second heyday when a U.S. military division and an industrial park were relocated there. But as the factories were shut down following the 1990s, the neighborhood was at the crossroads of either preservation or development.
조성 당시부터 계획돼 있던 도로라든지 가구 구획이 그대로 남아 있어서 지금 그 국내 건축사 연구에서도 큰 가치가 있는 것으로.
Mwetkor Village and its residents have come to symbolize the pain of exploitation as well as the shame and glory of industrialization.
Comedy movies were in high demand during the Lunar New Year holiday period in Korea. Here's more from the world of show business.
Detective K made a triumphant return after a 4-year break, ruling the theaters during this year's Lunar New Year holiday. The latest sequel, entitled Detective K: Secret of the Lost Island, drew nearly 2 million viewers during the 5-day holiday, topping the domestic box office. So far, the movie has drawn over 3 million viewers. The music video for Psy's Gentleman, which he released as the follow-up to the mega hit Gangnam Style, has been viewed on YouTube more than 800 million times. The music video drew the global spotlight for the so-called hip dance. It was selected as the most viewed video in the world in late 2013, with the number of views surpassing 600 million. KBS TV's new weekend series Bluebird's House has made a successful start, recording viewer ratings of over 20%. Bluebird's House is a story about the loves and friendships of young people forced to give up relationships, marriage, and childbirth due to financial problems, as well as their clashes with the older generation.
Falling accidents are especially common in winter when roads are iced over and slippery. Moreover, the muscles are stiff from the cold, so even a little slip can cause many complications. Today, we'll find out more about how to prevent falls and subsequent injuries in winter. The muscles are stiff from the cold, and bulky clothing hinders smooth movements in winter, increasing the risk of falling accidents. Don't feel safe just because you haven't taken a hard fall yet.
통증 자체가 이제 만성화되실 수가 있고 관절의 불안정성이 증가돼서 그 주변 근육들이 같이 약해지면서 인접한 관절에도 영향을 줄 수가 있게 됩니다.
So how big is the impact from a fall? When you fall forward, the impact is 2.5 times your body weight. But when you fall backward, the force of 4 times the body weight is concentrated on your buttocks. The elderly must be especially wary of a hip fracture.
일단 거동 자체가 불편해지고 보행 기능을 즉각 소실하게 됩니다. 그리고 치료 과정에서 장기간 그 와상 상태에 계셔야 되는 경우가 많은데 그런 경우에 욕창이라든지 전신 허약 같은 그런 2차 합병증이 많이 생기게 되고요.
How effective are medicated patches in dealing with the pain from falling?
그러셨다면 절대로 파스로는 통증이 호전되지도 않으실 거고 다른 자리에 물집이 생긴다든지 피부 손상이 생길 수 있어서 치료에 도움이 되지 않으므로
People often put heating pads on the affected areas. What's the proper technique?
낙상 직후에는 냉찜질을 하시는 것이 좋습니다. 그래서 수상 부위가 부을 수 있기 때문에 그 붓기를 막고 어느 정도 통증이 있는 기간이 지나간 다음에는 온찜질을 하시면 도움을 받을 수 있습니다.
Here's some tips to reduce the likelihood of injury when you fall.
빙판에서나 겨울철에는 이 보행을 일반 보행보다 한 10에서 20% 보폭을 줄이고 또 중심을 다소 낮추면서 후주머니에 이 손을 집어넣지 않으셔야 되고요.
If you happen to fall backward, it's better to fall on your hands and back instead of your buttocks. When falling forward, try to have the knees come in contact with the ground first. Then, how can falling accidents be prevented?
얇은 옷을 여러 껴입는 것이 더 낫겠고요. 그리고 이제 겨울철 필수 모자, 또 장갑, 또 기왕이면은 잘 안 미끄러지는 신발 이런 것들을 신음으로써
Finally, stretching exercises done on a regular basis can help boost your body's flexibility, thereby preventing you from getting injured in a fall. Now let's take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.